But the truth is, the narcissist never works alone. No, there is always a circle, a group of people who knowingly or unknowingly enable the narcissist's destructive behavior. These are the enablers, and their role in the story of your hurt is real and undeniable. Who are these enablers? They are the people who feed the narcissist ego. They're the ones who brush aside the damage, the lies, the manipulation, because they see something in the narcissist they want to protect. Maybe it's loyalty, maybe fear, maybe personal gain. But whatever it is, their support gives the narcissist fuel to keep hurting others. They don't just stand by silently. In many ways, they are partners in the hurt. Now, it's important to understand that enablers are not always bad people. Many of them are caught in a web of deception. They might be family members, friends, coworkers, or even authority figures who believe the narcissist's carefully crafted image of charm and innocence. The narcissist is a master at hiding behind a mask, and these enablers have been deceived just like everyone else. But deception or not, the truth remains, their enabling actions have consequences. When they excuse the narcissist's behavior, saying things like, "Oh, they didn't mean it," or "That's just how they are," or worse, "You must have done something to provoke them," they are twisting reality and adding to the victim's pain. This denial, this enabling, validates the narcissist's control and abuse. It makes the victim feel isolated, unheard, and doubted. And that, my friends, is a deep wound. One that cuts not just the flesh, but the soul. You might have experienced this yourself. Perhaps you cried out for help, only to be met with silence or disbelief from those around you. Maybe someone you trusted told you to forgive too quickly, to move on, or to ignore what happened because it's not worth it. Those words come from a place of ignorance or fear, but their effect is devastating. They protect the abuser, not the abused. And in God's eyes, this enabling behavior is not overlooked. God's justice is perfect, and His eyes are on everyone involved, not just the one who caused the harm, but also those who shield them. It is written that we will all give an account for the deeds done in the body. Enabling evil, even passively, is a deed that will be accounted for. God's judgment spares no one, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. But here's something crucial to remember. While the enabler's actions are wrong, God's heart is full of mercy. He desires repentance and restoration for all. If these enablers recognize their role and turn away from it, they can be part of healing rather than hurt. But if they continue to protect the narcissist at the expense of the truth and the victim's well-being, their judgment is certain. Now, understanding the role of these enablers is not to feed your anger or bitterness, but to bring clarity. It's easy to feel confused and betrayed when those around you seem to defend the one who hurt you. But when you see their role clearly, it frees you. You no longer bear the weight of isolation or shame, because you know this was never just your fight alone. You must also realize that the enabler's loyalty to the narcissist is often rooted in fear. Fear of losing their place, fear of facing the truth, fear of the chaos that would ensue if they stopped protecting the abuser. Fear makes people do strange things, but fear is never a justification for allowing harm to continue. True courage is standing for truth even when it means standing alone. And so, you who have been hurt, do not let these enablers rob you of your peace. They are part of the story, but they do not define your ending. God's justice is coming, and it will reach those who hide behind false loyalty. But you are called to something greater. You are called to heal, to rise above the pain, and to walk in freedom. This journey is not easy. It takes time to unravel the web of lies and to separate who truly stood with you and who stood with the abuser. But God's grace is sufficient, and His strength will carry you through. Hold on to that promise that the day will come when all things hidden will be brought into the light. Until then, guard your heart. Surround yourself with those who bring truth and love, not denial and excuses. Seek healing and restoration in the arms of the one who knows your pain and is faithful to heal it. The enablers may have helped the narcissist hurt you, but they do not have the power to keep you broken. Remember this: the power to heal is greater than the power to hurt. The voice of truth is louder than the whispers of deception, and the judgment of God is righteous, impartial, and sure. Would you like me to continue with the next key point? There is another group of people who play a quiet but powerful role in the story of your pain: the bystanders. These are the silent witnesses who watch the narcissist's cruelty unfold, but choose to stay silent. They see the manipulation, the lies, the emotional wounds, but they refuse to act. Their silence, though often overlooked, is a form of complicity. It's easy to look at these bystanders and ask, why didn't they speak up? Why didn't they protect me? And the truth is, their silence speaks volumes. Sometimes it comes from fear of confrontation, fear of becoming a target themselves. Sometimes it comes from indifference, a cold decision to look the other way because it's easier than getting involved. Other times, it's a kind of numbness, a failure to recognize the full extent of the harm because the narcissist's mask is so convincing. But make no mistake, silence is not neutral. When good people do nothing, injustice thrives. When those who could intervene choose to stay quiet, they are allowing the cycle of pain to continue. The narcissist knows this. They count on the bystander's silence to build their kingdom of control and destruction. You may have experienced this firsthand. You may have cried out, trying to reveal the truth, only to be met with closed ears and turned backs. You may have hoped for support, only to find yourself standing alone. That loneliness cuts deeply because it is not just the pain from the narcissist, it is the pain from those who refuse to stand with you. Yet, in God's perfect justice, no one's silence is hidden. The eyes of God penetrate every secret place. Those who remain silent when they should have spoken will give account for their silence. God does not overlook the voices that were stifled or the cries that went unanswered. His judgment is impartial and thorough. No one escapes, no one is spared, not even those who sit quietly while others are harmed. But here's what we must also understand. Many of these bystanders are themselves caught in a web of fear or confusion. They may not know how to act. They may feel powerless. They may believe their silence is protecting them or others. But God calls us to courage, to stand up for what is right even when it is hard, even when it is costly. It is important, too, for those who have been hurt to understand this role, not to foster bitterness, but to find clarity. You were not imagining things. Your pain was real. The absence of voices in your defense was not a reflection of your worth, but of others' unwillingness or inability to stand with you. Knowing this truth frees you from carrying the burden of blame or self-doubt. And let me be clear. This silence does not mean your story ends in defeat. In fact, the silence of bystanders often becomes the backdrop against which your strength shines the brightest. Because when no one else would speak, you found your voice. When no one else would stand, you stood tall. That is where true courage begins. The day will come when the silence of these bystanders will be broken by the sound of divine justice. God's judgment spares no one. Not the narcissist, not the enablers, and not the silent witnesses. Every hidden act, every quiet refusal to act, every moment of indifference will be brought into the light. And when that day arrives, no one will be able to say they did not know. Until then, you who have suffered must guard your heart. Do not let the absence of support from others cause you to lose hope. Instead, let it drive you closer to the one who always listens, who always stands with the oppressed, who is your refuge and strength. In your darkest moments, he was there, silent to some, but never silent to you. Remember, your healing is not dependent on the voices of others, but on the voice of God speaking truth and restoration into your life. The bystanders may have chosen silence, but God's voice never ceases to call you to wholeness and peace. So stand firm in the knowledge that silence is not the end. It is a challenge to rise higher, to speak louder, to shine brighter. Your story is not one of abandonment, but of resilience. And when God's justice moves, Every silent witness will have their day of reckoning. Would you like me to proceed with the next key point? When we begin to understand the pain caused by a narcissist, it's natural to focus on the one who inflicted the harm. But the truth is, you were never alone in that struggle. There were others, the enablers and the silent bystanders. But beyond them, there is something even more important to recognize. You yourself are part of this story, not just as a victim, but as someone with the power to heal. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that because others hurt you, your identity is shattered. You might think that what happened to you defines who you are, or worse, that you deserve the pain. But that could not be further from the truth. You are not the sum of the wounds inflicted upon you. You are more than the lies whispered in your ear, more than the manipulation designed to break your spirit. Understanding the roles others played, the enablers who fed the narcissist's ego, the bystanders who remained silent, helps you see the full picture. It clears the fog of confusion and isolation. It shows you that the harm done to you was not your fault, but a product of many hands working against your peace. And with that clarity comes the first step toward reclaiming your power. Healing begins when you acknowledge this truth. The narcissist did not hurt you alone. Their power to wound was multiplied by those who enabled them and by those who refused to intervene. This recognition is not to make you feel more burdened, but to set you free from false guilt and shame. You are not the one who caused your pain, but you are the one who can choose how to respond. The path to healing is a journey. It is not an instant fix, nor a simple decision. It requires courage. Courage to face the truth, courage to confront the memories that sting, and courage to break free from the chains of victimhood. But it also requires faith. Faith in the promise that restoration is possible, faith that God's justice will prevail, and faith that your identity can be rebuilt. In this journey, remember that your value does not come from the approval of others, especially not from those who have hurt you or turned away. Your worth is inherent, given by the Creator who made you in His image, who loves you unconditionally, and who desires your wholeness. When you begin to see yourself through this divine lens, the lies of the narcissist lose their power. As you reclaim your identity, you must also learn to trust God's justice. The world may seem unfair, and the pain you endured may feel like it will never end. But God's judgment is perfect and impartial. It does not overlook the sins of the abuser, nor does it forget the silence of the enablers and bystanders. All will be brought to account. This truth gives hope that the scales of justice will be balanced in time. But you don't have to wait passively for justice to come. You have a role to play in your own healing. This means setting boundaries, seeking support from those who truly care, and investing in your own spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. It means choosing to walk away from toxic relationships and embracing those who encourage and uplift you. Healing also means forgiving, not as a way to excuse what happened, but as a way to free your own heart from bitterness and resentment. Forgiveness is a process, and it doesn't mean forgetting. It means releasing the hold the pain has over you, allowing God to heal the broken places within. When you forgive, you are not condoning the hurt, you are reclaiming your peace. Know that you are not alone in this journey. Many have walked this path before you, and many will walk it after. There is strength in community, in sharing your story and hearing others and lifting one another up. Do not isolate yourself. Seek those who will stand with you in truth and love. The road ahead may not be easy, but it is one of hope. When you understand the full scope of who was involved in your hurt, you gain perspective. When you recognize that healing is your choice and your right, you gain power. And when you trust in God's perfect justice and love, you gain peace. Your story is not just about pain. It is about transformation. You have the strength to move beyond what was done to you. You have the courage to rebuild your life on a foundation of truth, dignity, and faith. And you have the promise that God's judgment spares no one, ensuring that all wrongs will be made right. Hold on to that promise as you walk forward. Your healing is a testimony, not just to your survival, but to your victory. Would you like me to expand the next key point? There is a truth we must hold on to in the midst of pain and confusion. God's judgment is perfect. It is not swayed by appearances, by lies, or by the deceit of the wicked. It is impartial, just, and thorough. When a narcissist hurts you, when others enable their cruelty or stand silently by, it may feel like justice will never come. But rest assured, nothing escapes the watchful eyes of God. The world may allow some to hide behind masks, the charming facade of a narcissist, the excuses of enablers, the silence of bystanders. But God sees beyond what we see. He looks deep into the heart, into the intentions and the consequences of every action. No act of cruelty, no silent consent, no twisted word escapes His notice. His judgment spares no one, because He is the God of truth and righteousness. This truth should bring comfort to the wounded heart. You have endured pain that no one should face, but the scales of justice will be balanced. Those who caused you harm will face their day of reckoning. The narcissist, who manipulated and controlled the enablers, who fed their ego and hid their faults, and the bystanders, who remained silent in the face of injustice, all will stand before God's judgment. But God's judgment is not only about punishment. It is also about restoration. It is about making right what has been wronged. It is about bringing light to darkness and healing to brokenness. The promise of divine justice is not just a warning to the wicked, it is a hope for the righteous. It is a declaration that the pain you have suffered will not be forgotten or ignored. You might wonder how this justice will come, how God will make things right. It may not look like what we expect. Sometimes justice is delayed, allowing space for repentance and change. Sometimes it comes through quiet restoration in your own life, the healing of your spirit, the rebuilding of your dignity. And sometimes it comes through the consequences the wicked bring upon themselves by the natural fruits of their actions. No matter how or when, God's judgment is sure. It is a promise that every wrong will be made right, that every tear will be wiped away, and that every heart-touch will find peace. This is the hope that sustains us when the world seems unfair, when the narcissist walks free, and when the enablers and bystanders seem to escape accountability. But this truth also calls us to trust in a God who sees all, who cares deeply, and who acts righteously. It can be hard to wait, to hold on to faith when pain is fresh and justice feels distant. But God is faithful and His timing is perfect. He is never late. He never fails. In the meantime, what do we do with this knowledge? We do not seek vengeance or bitterness. We do not try to control the outcome or take justice into our own hands. Instead, we rest in the assurance that God is at work. We allow Him to be our refuge and strength, our shield in times of trouble. We also hold on to hope. Hope that healing is possible. Hope that restoration will come. Hope that the narrative of pain will be transformed into a story of triumph. When you believe in God's perfect judgment, you can begin to release the heavy burden of anger and resentment. You can begin to walk in freedom, knowing that the one who loves you will make all things right. This promise is not just for the future, it is for today. God's judgment brings peace to the troubled soul. It reminds you that you are not forgotten. It assures you that your suffering has meaning, that it will be redeemed. And it empowers you to move forward with courage and faith. So hold fast to this truth. The narcissist, the enablers, the silent bystanders, none will escape the righteous judgment of God. But you who have been hurt are held in the hands of a loving and just God. Trust in His timing, rest in His justice, and walk boldly into the future He has prepared for you. Would you like me to continue with the next key point? There comes a moment in the journey of healing when you must look beyond the pain and the past and begin to restore your identity. The damage done by a narcissist and by those who help them hurt you can leave you feeling broken, lost, and uncertain about who you really are. But listen carefully. Your identity is not defined by what others have done to you. It is not shaped by their lies, their manipulation, or their betrayal. Your identity is precious, it is sacred, and it is waiting to be reclaimed. You may have believed for a long time that you were less than, that you were not worthy of love or respect because of how you were treated. But that belief is a lie. It is a lie crafted by the narcissist and echoed by the enablers and the silent bystanders. It is a lie that says your pain is your fault, that your value depends on someone else's approval. But today, I want you to know that this lie can be broken. Restoring your identity begins with recognizing the truth about who you are in the eyes of God. You are His creation, made in His image, loved unconditionally and eternally. Your worth is not measured by the opinions of others or the scars you carry. It is measured by the God who knit you together, who sees your heart, and who knows your potential. When you begin to see yourself through this lens, healing begins. This restoration is not a quick fix. It is a process of peeling back the layers of pain and falsehood to reveal the truth beneath. It requires patience with yourself, kindness to your soul, and faith in God's promise to make all things new. Sometimes it means confronting the past, acknowledging the hurt, and allowing yourself to grieve. Other times it means letting go of the shame and guilt that were never yours to carry. As you take these steps, remember that you are not alone. God walks with you every step of the way, guiding you toward wholeness. He is the healer of broken hearts, the restorer of shattered lives. And His power is greater than any damage done by the narcissist or those who helped them. No wound is too deep, no pain too great for His healing touch. You will also find strength in the community around you, those who truly love and support you. Surround yourself with people who see your worth, who encourage your growth, and who walk alongside you in this journey. Their presence can be a balm to your soul, reminding you that you are not isolated, that you belong, and that you are valued. As your identity is restored, you will begin to walk in freedom. Freedom from the lies that once bound you. Freedom from the fear and doubt that once controlled you. Freedom to be the person God created you to be, whole, strong, and confident. This freedom is not just for you. It is a testimony to the power of God's love and justice. It shows the world that healing is possible even after deep betrayal. And remember, restoring your identity is also about reclaiming your voice. The narcissist may have tried to silence you, the enablers may have dismissed you, and the bystanders may have ignored you. But you have a voice and it matters. Speak your truth. Share your story. Let your journey inspire others who are hurting. Your testimony can be a light in the darkness for someone else. This restoration is also an act of faith. Faith that God will bring beauty from ashes, that He will turn mourning into joy. It is a trust that justice will come, that healing will happen, and that your future is bright. Even when the road is difficult, hold on to this hope. Let it be the anchor for your soul. So today, make the decision to reclaim your identity. Choose to see yourself through God's eyes, loved, worthy, and powerful. Choose to walk away from the lies and the pain and step into the new life God has for you. Your past does not define you. Your identity is not lost. It is waiting for you to embrace it, to live it fully, and to shine brightly. Would you like me to continue with the last key point? There is a delicate balance that must be understood on this journey toward healing. The balance between forgiveness and justice. Many who have been hurt deeply by a narcissist struggle with this tension. On one hand, they hear the call to forgive, to let go of bitterness, and to find peace. On the other hand, the wounds are raw, and the desire for justice, for the wrongs to be made right, burns fiercely within the heart. How do we reconcile these two? How do we embrace forgiveness without excusing the pain, and trust in justice without becoming consumed by anger? Let me be clear, forgiveness is not forgetting. It is not pretending that what happened was okay. Forgiveness is a powerful act of releasing the hold that hurt and bitterness have on your soul. It is an act of courage that frees you from the prison of resentment. When you forgive, you are not saying the abuser's actions were acceptable. You are saying that you will no longer allow their sin to define your life or control your heart. Forgiveness is a gift you give to yourself, a step toward healing and peace. It is the path to reclaiming your freedom. But it is also a process. It may take time, and it may require strength you don't yet feel you have. Be patient with yourself. Forgiveness does not mean you must reconcile or forget. It means you choose to move forward, refusing to carry the weight of anger that can consume you. At the same time, justice is not something to be ignored or dismissed. God's judgment is real and certain. He sees every act of cruelty, every moment of silence, every word twisted to cause harm. No one escapes his righteous judgment. The narcissist who inflicted pain, the enablers who fed their ego, the bystanders who stood silent, all will face accountability. This truth brings hope to the wounded, assurance that evil will not go unchecked. But here is the crucial part: justice belongs to God, not to us. We are called not to seek revenge or to become agents of wrath. Our role is to trust God's perfect timing and His righteous hand. When we try to take justice into our own hands, we risk becoming what we despise, losing ourselves in anger and bitterness. But when we surrender our desire for vengeance to God, we find peace that passes all understanding. This surrender does not weaken us, it strengthens us. It frees us to focus on our own healing and growth rather than on retaliation. It allows us to walk in freedom and grace, knowing that the one who sees all will make all things right. You do not have to carry the burden of justice alone. God carries it for you. Forgiveness and justice together create a path of healing that honors both mercy and truth. Forgiveness opens the door to peace and restoration, while justice ensures that truth is upheld and wrongs are addressed. This balance is essential for true freedom. Without forgiveness, bitterness can consume you. Without justice, wounds remain open and unhealed. As you walk this path, remember that forgiveness is a choice and justice is a promise. You choose to forgive, not because the offender deserves it, but because you deserve peace. And you trust in God's judgment, not because you must punish, but because righteousness will prevail. This balance also protects your heart from further harm. Forgiving does not mean returning to a toxic relationship or ignoring warning signs. It means releasing anger while maintaining boundaries. It means loving yourself enough to say no to further abuse. It means trusting God to protect and restore you. Your journey is unique, and there is no timeline for forgiveness or healing. Be gentle with yourself. Seek support from those who understand and care. Pray for strength and guidance. And hold on to the truth that God's judgment spares no one. The narcissists, the enablers, the silent bystanders, all will face Him. But you are invited into freedom through forgiveness and peace through trusting justice. This is the path to healing. This is the road to wholeness.